much. Again, I'm Kelly Farrell, and I'm going to let Valerie introduce herself real quick, but he just did.
Hello and good morning. I'm Valerie Walters. I'm the president and CEO for LESC and Cogency IPA. It's not mentioned here. I'm just glad to be in your midst and to be able to share with you and learn from all of you. So thank you.
So we're going to have a conversation about branding from the heart. And in order to set that up, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Valerie. Valerie's been with LESC for 30 years. But the last 11 years, she served as a CEO. She has a unique experience of managing this organization in one of the busiest cities in the world, New York City. And it takes a lot to talk about, to get all these pieces moving in the same direction. So if I know we're talking about branding, but I'm just going to set you up how she walked into her CEO-manship. She was in HR prior to that, and then she moved into her CEO role. When she got in there, it was a little bit of lots of financial challenges. I call them money problems. She calls them financial challenges. She wasn't able to make payroll. She owed the bank $1 million. She owed, other people money as well, Medicaid 1.2. Every single vendor she was behind on paying them. And $2 million was not being paid from services she provided. So when you walk in, does this relate to branding? Branding isn't top priority at this time, at this very moment. So what I love about her is that she knows how to put things in order. Got her house in order, that's how I met her. I met her in the middle of that, and she had to do all that before she could even talk about branding. Because she had limited internal brand awareness, zero morale, and her staff was siloed. And she has a residential and outpatient facility in New York, in the Bronx. So I don't know if you want to talk about how you fixed all that, or I can roll through it.
This was not a one-man show in terms of fixing it. I had a team and a set of staff on the board who were really very encouraging. So even though I walked into those challenges, I was motivated to move things along, and I got the help I needed from my board, from my staff, and everybody. And within 2 weeks, we were able to pay off all those debts and added more programs. But it was a team effort, so I couldn't do it by myself. So I've always have to let you know, they say it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to run a company.
Yes. So their LESC stood for Lower Eastside Service Center. That's what they called it in New York. And she went through a brand assessment. So I have several questions that I want to ask her about what happened after the brand assessment, and just to let her talk to you about the story of her brand. Because now she's able to focus on it, right? And she understands the importance of it. So the first question I have is, at what point did you know you had low brand awareness?
Well, before I answer that question, I'd like to let you know LESC is one of the first agency that provides services for individuals with substance use disorder in New York. And we have over 15 programs, including supportive housing, permanent supportive housing, scattered-site housing, and transitional housing, and primary care. So we provide a full array of services for individuals, whether it's mental health, substance use disorder, gambling issues, homelessness, we do it all. So that leads me into answering the question you posed here. Just imagine an agency with all those going on at different locations. And when I got into this position, I was new to the agency, but I started meeting with my staff and, let's talk about what we do as a group. And then I realized that we were operating in silos. Internally, we did not know what we did in all these programs. We couldn't refer a client to another service within our program, although we had the services there. And can imagine if that's what's happening inside, what's happening on the outside. You know, when I meet with companies on the outside and I talk about our services, they will say, oh, so you are Sukasa? Oh, I refer to them. So the way we saw ourselves inside a silo, everybody saw us outside the same way. And so at that point, you know, I met with my staff, I met with the clients, I met with the board, and they said, we have to do something about it. We didn't have the resources and we didn't have the personnel, and that's when I turned to Kelly, because I had met Kelly 8 years before, when I was 2 years in the position, and I told her the name of my company, and I said, what do you think I do? It was a marketing conference, and I said, I don't want you to insult me, but I don't provide services for cars. And so we started there. And I shared with her my intentions, but I said, I can't afford you right now, but we're going to stay in touch. And so that's how we got here.
And that's why I started with the business stuff first. She's always, business is very, if she doesn't have the money, she doesn't do it. It's pretty amazing. So the second question I have is, after the brand assessment, we recommended not using Lower East Side Service Center and putting LESC in front of all your program names because no one knew that those were your programs. Why did you decide, because she said, I'm not doing a name change, I'm not doing a logo change, I'm not doing a website change, I'm not doing anything. So why did you decide to, I would call it a refinement more than a total redo? Why did you decide to go to shorten it?
The founder of the agency, when we started this name, and I tell you, I've been with the agency 30 years, we've talked about changing the names. And if you ever have to change the name of a company, you know how difficult it is, because there are those people who cannot let go and will not let go. And so I know it would be a struggle if we have to come up with a new name. So why not stick to the initials, LESC? And of course, we talk about what we do, recovery. And we looked at how our clients and our staff been able to just bounce back. And so we attached to that LESC, resilience recovery. Mm-hmm. So just seeing that there's no questions to what we do. We're in the business working with people in their journey to recovery. And so that just meant we took it that way.
In the brand, we're talking a lot about brand at this conference. It's so nice. Brand strategy, all the brand stuff that's been in all the conversations up here. And Valerie was all in on working on hers. And so that was a really key part of this, is doing it the right way. In her assessment, she talked to staff, she talked to the board, she talked to all her payers. She went out and did a survey of just her clients. And these words come from them, just like any brand assessment you all are working on for your clients. We're just translators at some point, us marketers. And but she opened it up to allow us to really dig in, ask her tough questions, and do the hard work. And that requires a lot of heart, trusting us, believing in us, challenging us. So once we turn the corner to LESC and getting you to bolt on resilient recovery to that, because her staff was all about taking care of the patients. That was their number one thing. The patients were resilient, so they had to be resilient. And this isn't a tough environment. I know all the environments are tough for our clients that we work on. It's just tougher in New York City to do things, to navigate, to get around, to do all the things you have to do to stay healthy and well. So what impact has, like, streamlining your name, bolting on something that makes sense? I mean, adding resilient recovery, bolting is lingo. So what impact has that had on your organization?
It's been very impactful in a very positive way. One, we've crossed the first hurdle. People know who we are, what we do, and all the services that we offer. So we were able to get that together. So when people talk about LESC, They know if you need residential services, you could call us. We have a program. We have 3 residential services there. If you talk about outpatient services, we have it there. So you refer to LESC. If you talk about gambling disorder, we have it, so they know. So it was really impactful in that people get to know who we really are and the services that we provided, and not us seeing us as in silos. Even our stakeholders, you know, they got to know, oh yeah, so LESC is the same agency that provide Franklin Avenue services, the same agency that does problem gambling. So it was really, that's the message we wanted to, that's the message I wanted to say. This is who we are, and these are the things that we do, and so, you know, whatever service you need, and I don't like to use the word one-stop shop, but we have it. So I wanted that to get out there, and that's what we were able to accomplish.
I wouldn't let her use one-stop shop. I swear, all the marketers out there. I wouldn't let her use it. So talk about your journey with understanding recovery a little bit, like the whole, your population that you serve, like getting to know them, like it's a little bit of your heart, if you want to share
it's
that.
a tricky thing, because I came to LESC 30 years ago when we didn't have computers. You couldn't go up and look up for the name of a company or what have you, and I came from teaching. So when I got there, I met with the president, just to give you a little bit of my story. When I met with the president, I said, do not look up my resume, just talk to me. And so we chatted, and at the end of it, I said, you didn't ask me any question about the job, but that's okay. What's the next step of the interview? So he smiled at me and he said, oh, you gotta meet with the board, and you have to meet with the executives and everything. But I have to tell you something, I was so grateful that he didn't ask me anything about addiction, anything about methadone, anything for medication, because I didn't know anything. All I knew that I was going to them, a not-for-profit organization that was going to bring my business experience to change what was going on there. And so I got the job. And when I got there, not knowing anything, I was very open. I can learn. And so I told them whatever I need to know, I was going to learn. I did not understand addiction. I did not understand mental health issues, because the culture I came from, we look at those things differently. And so when I got there, I told him I could change everything around in about 2 years, not understanding. But it took me a while to understand that mental health, substance use disorder, gambling, all those are diseases. And it took me a while. It really took me a while because I didn't get it. But once I got it, I said, what can I do to help people in their journey? So I became very passionate about the work we do, and I take it very, very personally. I meet with my clients, I meet with the staff, I try to meet them where they are and to understand their journey. So for me, it means a whole lot. It's coming from within. That's how I feel about it.
Also in the assessment, we do tons of questions, one word, give me one word that describes, 3-word, you know, all those. So we do word clouds, and what the staff collectively, we came up with words for LESC instead of Lower Eastside Service Center. And they were love, energy, safety, compassion. And I was wanting you to speak on that a little bit, where that, how that came through, what that means to you to have it in your back pocket, how it aligns with your values.
Those were 4 words. We came up with a lot of words, and then we narrow it down to, you know, not just because they sound good or feel good, because I want it to come from within. And so I said to my group, let's not think about fancy words, but let's think about how we feel about the work we do. And so love, because we do enjoy what we do. You know, I look forward to going to work every day. And I always check in with my staff, how are you doing today? So I know the people who come to us, they like their job. The average length of stay for our employees is 10 years. And I'm there 30 years, so just to tell you. And there are people who've been there longer than I've been there. And so, you know, we look at love, and we look at the next word, which is energy. You can't do anything if you have to be energized. You have to have life. When you get up, you don't just, oh, it's a new day. So you get to work, oh, it's a new job. So, you know, we want people to come to work ready to work. And because that's how we want our clients to know today is a new day. And with new day, you're going to have new experience. You want it to be positive. And so we like the word energy, you know, so it's love, it's energy, it's safety. You know, our clients who are struggling with mental health illnesses, with substance use disorder, what have you, they want to go to a safe place. They want to go to an environment that when they get there, they know that the people there care about them and they don't have to worry. And so that's how we came up with SAFE. And then the third word, which is
compassion.
What did we say?
Compassion.
Compassion. Just kidding, Kenny. I know, compassion. You know, you have to love what you do. I tell you, if you don't love what you do in life, you cannot enjoy it. And a lot of people get up and say, I'm going to work, but I hate my job. I say, stay home. Okay? Don't come to my company if you hate your work, because you know, you're robbing me, you're taking my money. You're not giving me anything in return, because when you get there, you don't care about it. You know, when you're compassionate about something you do, you're going to put your 100% in there, because at the end of the day, you want to look at it and admire the outcome. So, you know, that's how we came up with those 4 words. And I think, you know, the staff, we have over 260 employees, and we have, like I said, over 15 programs and all the other services. And I meet with my staff on a very regular basis. I meet with the clients on a very regular basis. I make sure that they know that I care about them. I stay in touch with them even after they leave the agency, and they send me how well they're doing. And it makes me feel like a proud parent when I see their success. So, you know, and it's coming not only from the head from me, it's coming from the head, it's going down and up. Because the head of the agency, we do set the pace, but if the rest of it is not in line, you're not getting anywhere. So it permeates not just from me, but through me to my staff and back to me, and through me to the clients and back to me. So, you know, that's how we came up with those 4 words. They came from the heart. We didn't make them up. This is how we describe ourselves. This is what we do, and that's how we feel about the work we do.
So what advice, lots of marketers in the room, probably done this before. What advice would you give, and there's also agency people here as well, what advice would you give, or just highlights, like points, you know, about the work you did? And I don't know why I can't answer it, hold on. What advice would you give to others in this case, in the audience?
Be bold, be brave, be not afraid to fail. Because if you're afraid to fail, you'll be paralyzed. And so I always say, you know, if I find myself into something and there's a lot of challenges, I always call it my journey. And I call it my valley experience, because that's where you learn the most. If you get into a position and everything is going great, there's no challenge for you. You can't prove yourselves. So when you get into a situation, there are challenges, you want to pause. You're there for a reason, because that's where you're going to build your skills. That's where you're going to examine yourself. And that's where you're going to prove to people that you have what it takes to move forward. So my advice is, when you get into a position or a situation where things doesn't go the way you want it, use that as an opportunity to learn and not be afraid, and to grow. And don't be afraid to ask for help when you need help. When you need help, ask for help. When you don't know, be humble enough to say, I don't know. Because people love to help people. And people like when you don't know, so they can jump in to help you. You know, so I'm an advocate of don't know. And I always say to my staff, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I tell them what I'm saying. And you get people's buy-in. So, you know, don't think that you're ever alone as a leader. They always say it's lonely at the head, but you can make it lonely. What you have to do is to reach out, be there. I walk to my agency, I talk to my staff. I don't sit in my office, and I don't keep a closed door, literally. They can walk in to see me. I check in on them every day. I walk down and, how are you doing? How is everything going? So, you know, my advice to any leader, anybody who wants to become a leader, that you engage. You ask for help when you need help. And it's okay to fail at times because you'll learn from your failures.
So to piggyback off that, Valerie has 0 marketing department within the organization. And when she stepped into it, she just said, I don't know what I don't know here, so, you know, guide me along. And it was really powerful because she's all in. She doesn't miss a meeting. She shows up. We get at it, you know. A little tension is always good. And the beauty in it is that she knew she needed it. She didn't know how to do it, but she went all in and prioritized it, made it a priority to set it up, establish how to do this marketing stuff, and build it within her organization. All right. So let's get to the heart of the brand. You know, so when you say leadership, when you say the heart of this brand, why? I think it links to what you said before, but why does it matter? Why? Why does it matter to build a brand from the heart? We heard a bunch of it throughout these talks.
It matters because perception is everything. And you want people to perceive you for who you are. You want to be genuine also. I heard a lot of that also. Don't pretend. And you want not just the people who come to your doors to know who you are. When a client comes to you, the client has to trust you. Okay, so it's important that they understand who you are. We get funding through the government, the federal, the state, the city government. They know who we are. Okay, and they come to us and ask us to pilot programs. So that says something about us. You know, our stakeholders, we work with just about everybody there, the hospitals. And so the branding from the heart to me was important because we want to be authentic. We want people to know who we are, what we are, and how well we do it because we have great outcomes. And part of working with this branding from the heart with Kelly is that we were able to look within ourselves. And like she said, you know, I'm stubborn at times. And at times she said, well, you have to. And I said, I don't really have to. But after a while, we get there. But, you know, if you're going to do something, be all in. Be all into it and be authentic about it and put your everything. Like I said, we don't have a marketing department at LESC. And I always said, oh, I'm my marketing department. And so I show up. I show up and we meet twice a week. And like I said, this is not my area of expertise. So I lean to the expert in that and I have to listen. But I'm all in because I know what I want out of it. And so my staff gets it. My board gets it because they know we're not doing this for show. It's really what we want to do and what we're determined to do. And my advice is if you're a leader, be in it, okay? You can't lead from a distance. You have to be in it. And so it has to, for me, it comes from the heart. I'm passionate about the work I do. I'm passionate about my staff. I'm passionate about my clients. So put it all together. I tell everybody every day, I live and breathe. I do have a life, but I live and breathe the work I do because I am so proud of the clients who have walked through our doors and are doing so well that it makes me feel really good going to work every day and really good about the work that we're doing at LESC.
A lot of people, a lot of organizations, when we work with them, they don't have a position in the market. They don't have a way to stand out. We just heard that from I know I just said that about 3 times, but we just heard that from the PR panel up here. How do you stand out? You stand out around your position. You have to know your position, which takes work to figure out what's your position. Everybody does really good work for really good, really, really sick people. And so how do you really stand out when you have really good clinicians, you're doing really good work, so it takes a while to peel that back and to figure out what that is. And to she allowed the firm to uncover all those things. It took a minute, we couldn't just jump in. So standing out, having a position, it goes deep. Your inside culture needs to match your outside perception. So getting to that inside, what is that made of? Everybody has really good people. That's all. We're people taking care of people. That's what we do. It's a lot of this work. So one more thing around. We have a few minutes here, so we probably can ask some questions. But one more thing about getting your staff. One of the key measures of success for the work was we ask everybody that's working on it, what does success look like to you? One of her keys was her staff was siloed. Everybody was heads down, hammering, taking care of their people, and no one was referring each other, talking to each other, didn't know what each other did, because all their programs kept evolving, changing, because they are like a beta site for OASIS. They'll come in and pilot a program. If it works, they keep it. If it doesn't, it moves on. So one of her goals was to get people up, their heads up, and to know what each other has done. Is that working? Is it happening?
It is working. Thank you, Kelly. That is working. And like I said, when I first got there, we didn't know what each other did. We know the agency did all of that, but we didn't know that, what I did a focus group with my executive group and all the directors of the programs. And I said, just introduce yourselves to each other and tell each other what you're doing. And everybody was like, really? Oh, I could have. I'm like, really? You've been here for so long and you don't know what your colleagues were doing or what have you? So internally, I just know this is a service I provide and that's it. I didn't know what my neighbor, and some of those programs are in the same building, but they didn't know that they could work together that way. So that to me also was an eye-opener, that we were so disjointed, we're so much in silos. We have supportive housing, but we weren't even referring our clients to supportive housing. We have transitional housing. We weren't even referring. We're looking for outsiders to come in and fill those things. And so that to me was really, I take back and I said, we have to do something. So what I do now, we follow up and we said, okay, how many internal referrals did you get this week? So it's growing and we did a lot of exercise. We did it internally, but Kelly also did it with us, where we all had to sit down and, talk about our services and talk about how we could work together. So that was really reinforced, was really riveted into how are we going to get this internal going? Because if it's not going inside, it can't go outside. And so we were able to do that. So every week I track and I said, how are we doing? And now it is growing. We're getting a lot of referrals internally, which is very good. So we're getting our clients from one service to the next service right into transitional housing. So when they leave us, we already have transitional housing for them to go into a permanent supportive housing. So that has been one of the best success we have gotten out of it, one of the best ones. Also in the external part of it, now we have people are coming to us from the outside. They know who we are. They know the services that we offer. They know that it's LESC and all these services under one umbrella. So we're more recognized for the services we offer, not just as the one service here or the one service there. So that I think is very successful, and we continue to watch it, and it is working and it's growing.
One of the key things she does, there's so many things we could do, the agencies can do, right? We can do social, paid, whatever. She chose to do a newsletter to key stakeholders, built the list with her subject matter expert, or her team, all the leaders in the group, in the organization, and has featured her staff as thought leaders. So they're interviewed, the story is written with their words, and it's super authentic. They sent us photos if we don't have their headshot, and it's really personal for them, and then they will share that out there. So that is another thing that was just talked about, is talking about your subject matter experts and featuring them. I'm just going to say she does it with honor. She really tries to spread it throughout the organization and make sure that everybody, because she has a lot of staff. And some people will raise their hand and want to chip in and get involved, and then other people are too shy, they don't want to get involved at all. But it is an opportunity to feature staff, and that is one of the areas. I know that you have to do more, but it's one of the areas that has been consistent. Build the database, target your key referrals, and tell them what kind of leaders you have in the organization. You guys are probably all doing that now.
And our board also, we interview our board members also. We interview clients. So, when you look every week, every month, we have clients we interview, tell their journeys. We have staff we interview for the different subject area, and we do involve our board. So, when, Kelly encouraged us to just get everybody involved. And so that's what's been going on, and it's really, really, really been impactful.
So we're close to the end here, and I don't know, do you have any closing? Do you want to say anything else about?
Well, I'm open to questions. Not that I have the answer to all your questions, but I encourage any CEO in the room or any clinician in the room that be brave, and believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, nobody's going to believe in you. If you believe in yourself, you can do great things, okay? And so, but if you don't believe in yourself, if you said, I'm not going to, you won't, okay? My staff usually laugh at me because when I tell them what we're going to do, they say, Valerie, you sure we can do that? I say, yes, we can, but don't ask me how, but we're going to do it. So, you just have to believe in yourself, love what you do. Whatever you chose for your career, make sure it's something that you're going to do. And I'm going to selfishly say, not because of money, but we all love money. I don't want to go to work and not get paid. But it has to come from your heart. You have to believe in it. Because at the end of the day, when I look at the field in which I work, it's not the salary that I make that makes me feel good. It's the outcome that I see. It's how many people that I've seen have gone back into society, CEO of different agencies, have a job here, there, and I mean really professional jobs. I always say they have a career now, not a job. And we've been very successful to get that kind of outcome. And that's what I see when I get up to go to work, when I'm working on projects at LESC. I see those clients who have come through our doors and have been so successful in their journeys and have come back to share and stay in touch with me. It makes me feel that, hey, I'm putting my little part into this journey in life. And so whatever you do it because you really want to do it, because you get better satisfaction out of doing it than anything else.
That's good. Any questions? No? None? Got a little paragraph I want to read at the end then. It's going to be different for every organization, right? This work, branding work, the industry is going to change. When you build your position from the heart, if you stay centered around your internal culture, your values, your vision, your mission, just like Valerie has, you lock the work into, you're equipped to make really smart on-brand decision and handle growth now and in the future. Just sets you up for success. Like, going deep, doing the hard work, peeling the onion back, figuring out what you stand for, what makes you different, and getting, have it come from your inside. It's like so powerful. And
I have to say, not-for-profit organizations, we don't think of branding, okay? For-profit, they think branding, they take everything else, but not-for-profit don't really think of branding. We just, this is what we do, and we do it well, and we're good at what we do. But I always say to my team, we're not for profit, put that on the back burner. We are in business, and we're not the only agency that provide these services. And I don't think there's one not-for-profit that provides only service that nobody else does. If you are, keep going, because somebody's going to catch up with you soon. So, you know, what you have to think of, what's going to make your company unique, okay? There are 6 other companies providing the same services. Why should, I always say to my staff, why should I buy your blue pen when there's so many blue pens? And so, you know, what I take away from this exercise that we did, that if you're going to do something, you want to do it where you're the one that's going to stand out. People are going to come to you for the right reasons. And when people talk about you, they'll talk negative, but you want them to talk about you for positive reasons. So you want great outcomes. You know, when I got really into the CEO leadership, I realized that in not-for-profit, we don't talk so much about outcomes. Okay, and everything was good and great. Everything was relative. And being an old math teacher, I'm like, oh, what does good mean? So I always say good mean relative. So, you know, we change the whole language, and when we talk about outcomes, we talk about it in terms of numbers, things that are measurable. And so I encourage not-for-profit agencies, I know for-profit are doing it, is to step back and look at the work that you're doing and be able to tell others about it in a way that is measurable. Not that we're doing a great job and people are doing good. Every day people do good. But you want to say how many people have come to your doors, how you've helped to change their lives, because that's what we're doing. We're helping people to change their lives, and you're helping them on their journey. And when you look at that, you could say, hey, this is what we're doing. So as not-for-profit, think differently. You know, people usually go into not-for-profit because you say that's the people who have a heart and a soul. Everybody has heart and soul. So just get in there and talk about what you do, and talk about it with confidence. Talk about it with pride. Talk about it so people will say, hey, you know, there's 6 other agencies out there that provide all the services that LESC, but you know what? This is the one we're going to. We're going to them because they love what they do. The employees are caring about what they do. They're compassionate about what they do. And you know, we've seen good outcomes. So and people feel safe there. So that's what you want to do. Make yourself unique and authentic so you're the blue pen that they will use, because there are several of you out there.
I think that's it. I think we're done. No questions? Not a one, not a one. All right. Oh, wait.
I really liked your point about setting up an internal email to stakeholders. How often do you do it, and how much time do you spend on that?
One more time. So.
Okay, all right, cool.
Sorry.
I really liked your point about marketing internally to your key stakeholders. I was just curious, how much time do you spend on that per month? And also, how many of those emails do you send per month?
We spend, I tell you, my marketing department, along with Kelly. And so every month we plan in advance what we're going to be doing. And I reach out to my staff. If we said, okay, this is mental health month, I go to that department. I said, I need somebody who is a subject matter expert. And I also need a client from that area. And so I personally reach out and I said, you know, I need your help. I'm always begging. And the good thing about my staff, they're in it with me. They're great. They are great. And they will come up and they give me a name, and I send it over to Kelly, and she interviews them and everything. So it's a teamwork, you know. So my part of it is the easiest. Mine is, oh, I need your help. And then they say yes, and I follow up, and Kelly gets it there. But it's consistent. It is consistent. It's every month, it's there. You know, and we plan in advance so we don't have any lapse. And people look forward to seeing themselves, you know, to hear what they talk about in their interview, and they're proud. They really, people say, oh, when are you going to call me, Valerie? It's like, your time will come. So once you start it, people feel encouraged, and, you know, it motivates others to do the same thing. We did a board member, another board member says, so when is my turn? So everybody wants to be in it, but it's very planful. And like I said, mine is the easiest part of it because I just beg them to, and then, you know, she does the interview.
We do it once a month, and it's a client story, usually subject matter expert. It's usually around maybe an observance of sorts. You know, we have this huge observance calendar that we do, and then we'll do some social. We have a bank of video too that will accompany video. You know, there's just kind of like a little framework. I mean, she's going from 0, like nothing, no followers, no social. Now we have a little bit on, we do one email a month to staff and then stakeholders. And it's, so far, that's what we're doing. We spend a lot of time on it. It's like, we meet weekly and we cover probably 5 different things, and that's one of them. But at the end of the month, we get everything done every month. Do you know?
You just have to be planful. Just plan ahead of time and be committed. Commitment is the key.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.